There's this group that is trying to recall Governor Snyder, and the name of the group is Michigan Rising. Michigan Rising. And, you know, there are things I don't agree with Governor Snyder. There are several things that I don't agree with. But I certainly don't agree with recalling him. That is nonsensical. Unless you're doing something illegal, unless a governor is doing something illegal or improper, you don't recall him. You just stand by the vote of the people and you move on next time. Well, I wanted to hear what they were all about. I have some of their information, but I graciously offered them time to come on and express their opinions. I knew we were going to talk about this, so I told my producer Skip, I said, hey, can you try to set up an interview with the group here? We'll get their side of it because there are some things I don't agree with that they're doing, the overall recall. Some of their reasoning behind it I may agree with or may not, but let's let them express themselves. Let's, hear what they have to say and also back up their opinion. So you ended up emailing them, and what happened?
I did. I emailed them just a quick, hey, this is Skip Lacombe. I'm the producer of the Doc Thompson program. We'd love to have you on to talk about the recall effort.
And in fact, I've got the email. Let me make sure. I'm Doc's producer. Hope things are going well. Would you or another guy be available this Friday? Blah, blah, blah. We want to still talk about the recall effort. Let me know if one of those times works for you. One of the directors or somebody involved with Michigan Rising emailed back, Skip, how long of a segment are you planning on doing? Will you be taking calls during the segment? Does Doc come at this from a particular point of view, liberal or conservative? This is a bipartisan effort. Will there be a recording of the segment available after the show airs? Why is he wondering my opinion on it? Why, if you have an opinion, express them. And if you can defend them, if you have good ideas, and you should be fine with that.
And that's the point, too, when I realized there was going to probably be some sort of an issue with this, too, because he's saying it's a bipartisan effort, but he's clearly wanting to know what side of the aisle you come from, or if
that
you have
doesn't sound like it's going to be bipartisan.
Any preconceived notions to it.
Well, and that's just it. If I have preconceived notions or anybody else, that is why we offer you the time. We offer you valuable radio time worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get your opinion out.
Yeah.
I'm offering you that. But know this, I'm not going to softball you. I'm not going to give you the, everything's great just because you say so. I'm going to make sure everybody who comes on, if there is something off with what you're saying, I'm going to challenge you on it. You'll have a time to express yourself. There's some people I've had on that I disagree with passionately. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we had the girl on the slut walk yesterday at 5:06. And I disagreed with about half of it. The first part of it I agree with. The second half I didn't agree with, but she got a time to express herself, and she was able to express herself.
Same thing with people with the Drop the I Word campaign. You brought them on, disagreed with. We give them ample time to say their point of view, and I mean...
Some people cannot do that because their ideas are weak, and that's what I think is coming from Michigan Rising, because then you emailed back after he questioned that, and you said Doc is quite libertarian in his views. We may or may not take calls, just depends on how the day is going. I can also provide you with a recording of the show. You gave me your cell number and other contacts.
Yeah, thanks for not reading my cell.
If you want, I can. Then you got, and he locked it in. He agreed to.
Yes, he said, I'm available, good to go.
Ready to go.
About 45 minutes after that, I received the following email. Skip, I just listened to Doc's show today, and Doc is a bully in the mold of Rush Limbaugh, who I'm sure is his idol. He is clearly not interested in facts or listening to the other side. I'd be happy to appear on other shows at WXYT and am willing to listen to the other side's point of view.
Okay, here's my thing, though. The time that he was listening, we had no guests on.
That is correct. In fact, we were talking about the Canada geese and how we'd like to kill them.
Yeah, what does that have to do with how a guest is treated? And whether or not... I mean, I welcome the geese on the air if they want to express their opinion. I have no problem with that.
This gentleman must just be a big fan of Canada geese.
Well, he went on to say something that Governor Snyder deserves to be recalled. Doc is clearly not respectful toward liberals or others with differing opinions. Wait a minute. I thought in his previous one, didn't he say that it's bipartisan?
Yes.
So really, this seems to come down to not bipartisan. All right.
So then I was somewhat taken aback by that, and I wrote the following email to him. Bruce, well, because he doesn't like Canada geese, or was it the dinosaur reference? We were talking
about dinosaurs.
Dinosaur flatulence, and how is he a bully? We haven't had any guests on today. I promise we'll give you full time to defend your point. While I won't lie, Doc disagrees with the effort. I'm shocked you won't come on to give your point of view. If you're going to garner support for your cause, just because the host disagrees does not mean our listeners will. If you're serious about this recall effort, you're going to run into people you have to convince. This is an opportunity to speak to Southeast Michigan. We will be talking about the recall either way. You're still welcome to tell us your point of view, or we'll just assume what it is. If you feel you can't defend your point, I understand. Thank you for your consideration. And again, I understand if you don't want to come on. It just caught me off guard.
All right, so this is from the group Michigan Rising that wants to recall Governor Snyder. We offered him time. We're gracious. We're very nice about it. We're honest. We're forthright, as we always are. But also let people know we're gonna challenge you if something sounds off. And I would expect that that's what everybody would want, unless you're part of the group Michigan Rising, in which case you want softball questions, apparently.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody that differs from you. I did a little investigating, and I would say most of the people that shows that they've appeared on or any interviews they've been given have been softball or people that are just extremist liberals. Mm-hmm. That's really what it seems like. Well, I emailed him back, and I said we extended the offer to join us as a courtesy, so on and so forth. I asked if anybody else was available. He emailed me back then and said, "Dear Doc, a.k.a. Ditto Head, your email perfectly proves my point. You insulted me at least 4 times in one paragraph." Hang on a second. Didn't he email right off calling me names?
Yes.
Just from hearing this, never being on, hearing one segment or whatever, never hearing me with guests, calls me names and then says I'm insulting him. Well, I emailed him back and expressed such. I'm like, listen, I understand liberals like to play the victim, but I'm not going to, softball you. I'm sorry. This isn't the place for you then. I welcome people. I welcome him or anybody else from Michigan Rising, but I understand that they cannot back up their ideas. Their arguments are weak and flimsy. They're so extreme that they will not discuss their ideas anywhere where they will get challenged. So because we had this time slotted for them, we're still going to push forward with the idea of calling Governor Snyder, and even with the group Michigan Rising, we're just going to interview them in absentia. We're going to go ahead and interview them in absentia. I mean, we were willing to give them airtime. We were generous in our effort to make sure they were not misrepresented. We didn't want to speculate what's behind everything that they're doing, so we offered them the time. We're just going to have to proceed without them now, and we're going to go ahead and do the interview. Now our interview with Michigan Rising in absentia. So, why do you think Governor Snyder should be recalled?
Me.
Oh, so really you're just an extremist liberal group.
Me. We're Republicans. Me.
No, see, he's not done anything illegal or improper. See, I think you just dislike his ideas and his plans. That's what I really think you're saying here.
Me.
I see. Okay. So you believe 2 wrongs make a right. You're upset about the consent agreement as one of the main focuses of the recall. In fact, that's number 1 on your 10 things list. You're so upset about the consent agreement because it takes away people's votes, which I actually agree with. But you hypocrites, you're actually trying to do the same thing to Governor Snyder. You're taking away people's votes just like you claim he is doing with the consent agreement.
Me.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. I will let you make your point. Go ahead. I think it's hypocritical. I think you're being a hypocrite. I mean, why not just vote him out of office next time? Doesn't that make more sense? Just vote him out. If your idea is not just to push a cause because you don't like that he's a Republican, why not just vote him out of office? Yeah, so basically you're about being selfish. That's the whole point. You're impatient, and you're doing this for you. The heck with the future, the heck with other people in Michigan. You are just doing this about you, to back your nutty liberal causes. I mean, you don't care about what others are going through. Like typical liberals, this is just what you're going through and what you want and what you have. This is all about your crazy, dangerous, extremist liberal ideas.
me.
All right, fine. You have anything else you want to say?
Me.
All right. Our Michigan Rising interview in absentia. Thank you so much for...
Me.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Me.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, that's flattering, but I'm married. I'm married. Sorry. Our Michigan Rising interview in absentia. Stop.
I'm well.
Do you have a comment?
Yes, I'm calling from Michigan Rising.
Oh, well, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. I actually want to expand on the point of from the interview.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to just go ahead and say, that's right-wing conspiracy.
That's very profound, Dave. Thank you for your comments. I'm glad you were actually willing to join us today. Thank you so much. I have to go just in absentia with most of these because we're just not able to get a lot of information. I went to the website. I'll run down the 10 things, the 10 reasons that Michigan Rising, this extremist, dangerous socialist group in Michigan that really, wow. I mean, you should be frightened. When you see anything Michigan Rising, you should be scared. I mean, these people work and live among you. The 10 reasons to recall Governor Snyder. They say the $1.3 billion surplus. They said it isn't a surplus when you steal money from K through 12 public education. Well, the truth is we've got to do something with public education. Public education in the United States of America has been a money pit. We have thrown money down, gobs of money, additional monies year after year after year. We've continued to increase it since the 50s, year after year and decade after decade, getting no increased results. So we need a change to public education. They say number 9, jobs. Not one piece of legislation to increase jobs has been signed by Governor Snyder. He said the tax cuts to corporations only help the bottom line. That standard liberal BS about the corporations are all behind it. The workers' compensation change, they point to that as number 8. Unemployment benefits cuts. They say Governor Snyder, March 28, 2011, cut state unemployment benefits from 26 weeks to 20. Here's the thing they don't tell you, is that the federal government is providing a whole bunch after the initial 26 that became 20 weeks, where some people were eligible for 99 weeks unemployment. I'm sorry, 99 weeks is ridiculous for the amount of unemployment. You may not be able to get the job you want or what you were making, but you can get a job to put money in your pocket and some food on your table. They mentioned number 6, the 48-month cap on family assistance. They said revolving families from state assistance has placed even more Michigan citizens, mainly children, at risk for homeless, hunger, and health benefits. You don't think there should be a 2-year cap on family assistance? You think people ought to be able to be on it indefinitely? You dangerous nutcase socialists from Michigan Rising? You people are off your rocker. You people are out of your gourd. They ought to check you for a mental disease. One of the top 10 reasons to recall Governor Snyder, according to Michigan Rising. Are you ready? One of the top 10 reasons. This is on their top 10 list. Why you would hold a recall of a governor that will cost us tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. One of their top 10 reasons is that he got rid of the film incentives in the state. That doesn't shock me because you liberals run in the cycles of entertainers in Hollywood and film producers. You're just looking out for your own, you selfish, greedy snobs. One of the other reasons, removing the cap on charter schools. They say it promotes privatization of education. Yeah, and why is that bad? Has public education gotten it done? Look at the city of Detroit. Done. Number 3, the $895 million cut from K through 12. Well, they already touched on that when it came to number 10, so they're repeating themselves. They can't even come up with a top 10 list.
So it's the top 9 list, basically.
Basically. Number 2, shared sacrifice, they say, is a blatant lie. And this is where it gets really ugly. Because this, coupled with number 1 and some of the other things, Michigan Rising, these dangerous people in our state, these dangerous people actually have called Governor Snyder a child abuser, saying that he abuses children. And not only have they said that, they have doubled down on this idea in interviews. They won't do it here because I'll challenge them on it. It won't be softball questions that they get at a bunch of other liberal groups or from liberal outfits. Some of those outfits that your tax dollars are paying, like public radio, they're not willing to actually have that challenged. Calling the governor an abuser of children? Number one on their list is the PA4, signing that in law, which is the consent agreement law. I actually agree with them on the consent agreement law. I don't support the state going in and taking over the cities. I think you're taking the vote out of people's hands. But they want to do exactly that to the people of Michigan by recalling the governor. Oh, they'll say, no, this is just an additional vote. No. The people have spoken, and you people are talking about all these cuts in spending to things like K through 12. We're going to have even less money if you continue with this ridiculous notion. You're ticked off because you don't have somebody like that crackpot Granholm in here anymore, that Nazi, that socialist in here anymore. You're ticked off. The people voted, and unless you are going to maintain your hypocritical stance, saying that the vote of the people is being denied because of PA4 with the consent agreement, you're doing the exact same thing. You don't like the governor? Then work to vote him out during the next regular election. Otherwise, you are that nutcased, socialist, hypocrite that I have been calling you. That is 100% accurate. Let's go to Troy. Sandy, you're on Talk Radio 1270 with Doc Thompson.
Amen, Doc.
This is nuts. These people are crackpots, and they're living in your community, Sandy.
Oh, I know. But you know what? I'm finding more and more that I'm meeting more and more conservatives all the time. I don't know how Troy got a Democrat, but when you look at what liberals have done to Detroit, and then everywhere you go, they say they're the ones who say elections have consequences. And then we elect who we want, and they want to vote them out everywhere you go, from Wisconsin to Ohio, here, I don't know where else they're doing it.
Sandy, if that crackpot Granholm was still in, and there were people out there that were saying we gotta have a recall, I'd be fighting just as hard. As much as I despise that woman, as nuts as I think she is, I would be fighting just as hard, saying that's a waste of money. Let the vote of the people stand. But these crackpots out there would be fighting against a recall of Granholm because
look at the names.
They have, Sandy. They have no principles. They have no values. It's just me, agenda.
And calling names. That's all they can do. Racist, bigot, whatever they can do. They have no arguments to back them up, and they keep doing this over and over. And I tell you, I can't even listen to 5 minutes of them anymore. It's lies. They are compulsive liars.
All right, Sandy. Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. No, it's she's right about that. It is the lies that we call them spins. But that's all they are. It's just marketing lies. Listen, I'm the consistent one. Consistently say, do the right thing, use common sense, stand by the people, personal freedom, personal responsibility. If Granholm was in right now, and I thought we had to face another year or 2 or 4 or whatever she had left, and people came to me and said, we can do this recall, we think we have a shot at it or whatever. Unless she is doing something illegal or improper, absolutely not. I will not support it, period. The people voted for her, just like they voted for Snyder. Stand by it. Work to get him out of office. As much as I know the president is destroying America with his nutcase, socialist, communist agenda, I would not support any recall or effort to get him thrown out. You stand by those years and you wait till the next election. That's what you're supposed to do. Recalls and impeachments are for improper activity. Oh, they'll try to spin it that way. They'll say, oh, well, it's also for, here's one of the arguments. Well, no, impeachments are for things that are illegal or improper. The recall is if we just think we've made it. No, forget it. You head down a path of recalling people every 6 months that is just a colossal waste of money. Stand by the vote. And if you don't like it, then work to change it next time. I have exposed you now, Michigan Rising. Your lies, your agenda, your true motivations are exposed. And I will continue to beat you down each and every day on this program, exposing you for what you are. Scour back under the refrigerator, you vile, disgusting little cockroaches. I want you out of sight. Go away. Your crazy ideas are not welcome for true freedom-loving, capitalist-loving Americans. Scour back underneath the refrigerator.